systems fail and the sky falls with them, voices will rise from the static. This is the Network Failure Podcast.
What is going on, people? Welcome to the Network Failure Podcast, episode 80. I am your host, Mr. Meoff. How are you doing? How's everybody doing today? Doing all right? Everybody safe and healthy? I hope so. Yeah, it's a scorcher out there, guys. It's Thursday, June 11th, and the world is on fire. We still got the war going on over in Iran. We still got a possible merger between Israel and the United States military. They're not stopping with that. They're stuffing it in all sorts of different bills. We have got a little bit from Tom Massey on the USS Liberty. He's now introduced it into the congressional record exactly what happened on that day. So that ought to be nice to listen to. Some bad news. Lindsey Graham won his seat, so he's going to remain in the Senate. And we've got a little more on what's going on with AI. All right, so pretty packed out episode. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. Strap in, get ready, because here we go. But before we get started, I want to thank all the subscribers, all the YouTube viewers, all the Spotify listeners, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. And last but definitely not least, I want to thank the Almighty Lord that I have the breath to speak to you guys today, because around this time last year, wasn't feeling so hot, still going through the ends of chemo and everything. So very grateful to still be around. So all thanks be to God. All right, let's get this thing rolling. All right. First things first, we got a little bit of fun. We had President Trump apparently really ripped one during one of his meetings. All right. So let's check this out and see how it comes out.
Again, working through all the permitting to drive towards that so that we can be selling clean, reliable energy to our allies in the Pacific who want to do more trade with us. And lastly, again, thank you for creating the National Energy. Again,
that was a long one, and it's very funny watching them try to keep their composure. That was nice. Well, we got good news on the Iran front, guys. Yeah. From Suleiman Ahmed, Iran agreed to stop firing yesterday after the U.S. agreed to unfreeze $3 billion in Iranian assets, which was flown from Abu Dhabi to Tehran, whatever, during the active airspace restrictions. The deal was brokered via Qatari delegation, with the U.S. also agreeing Israel would restrain its attacks on Lebanon. So good news, right? But that did not last very long. Quietly, from Ken Klippenstein, the U.S. has quietly deployed 82nd Airborne paratroopers to Israel. The deployment is tied to new U.S.-Israel joint contingency plans for seizing Karg Island and carving out coastal territory inside Iran. So it was all a ruse. There's really no deal being made or anything like that. Because on the 8th, perfect timing for the anniversary of the USS Liberty false flag, an Apache helicopter gets taken down. Yep, they take out an Apache helicopter, and apparently, the way Trump has been talking about it, the bomb never went off. It just landed right inside the back seat of the helicopter, and we're so lucky that it didn't go off. Listen, a Shahed drone cannot catch a helicopter. They go from point A to point B. They don't track like that. All right, this is a false flag. This is another reason why we can't have a deal. So this is the nonsense that they're trying to pull. We had a deal. We don't have a deal. Like 38 times he's gone over this. We have a deal. We don't have a deal. We got a deal. We don't have a deal. Just back and forth. All over again. Same shit. But let's see what he's got to say. Okay, let's check this out. This is from the New York Post.
Mr. President, Iran, you posted this morning about Iran, and you said that they've taken too long to get to a deal, and I want to make sure I quote you correctly. You said that now they will have to pay the price. Yeah. What did you mean by that specifically?
Well, we're going to be attacking them very hard.
You're resuming bombing?
Yeah, well, we are. Based on the helicopter, I guess we have the right to do that. You know, they shot down a very incredible, actually an incredible machine, and at first they said they didn't do it, then they admitted they did it. It's sort of easy because we have the bomb. We actually have the bomb. Got very lucky that bomb didn't explode.
Yeah.
That bomb was lodged in the helicopter. It didn't explode.
Right
it
in
was
the
on
back
fire,
seat.
but it didn't explode. Those two guys, they knew how to fly, but they got very lucky.
All right, so the footage that they're showing is old footage. This isn't something in the milk ain't clean. Know what I'm saying? Something ain't clean. Another one from Suleiman Ahmed. Iran destroyed a secret billion-dollar U.S. project in Bahrain, says ex-CIA Larry Johnson. Let's take a listen.
One of the things I learned, I'm limited what I can say, but I learned last night that the reason for Iran's bombing of Bahrain, they have destroyed a very, very important and highly classified capability. I'll just leave it at that.
Don't sound good.
It has sent shockwaves through the Pentagon. Literally, military, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Hegseth and all, they were just shocked by what Iran was able to do when it hit Bahrain. They claimed it was going out to the Fifth Fleet, but this is so important and so consequential. It may very well affect the outcome of the war. It may be another new motive for the United States, to back off and not give Iran the pretext to be able to carry out this attack, because, to my knowledge, Bahrain hadn't fired any missiles or helicopters or fixed-wing aircraft against Iran, but Iran took advantage of the actual fire that was coming at them, including from they blame it on foreigners, but it was primarily out of Kuwait. It wasn't Bahrain.
What the fuck?
But in destroy this capability that was destroyed, it's in the billions of dollars. It's pretty shocking.
Sorry for the F-bomb. I thought I lost something. My bad. Apologies. But that's pretty crazy. Billions of dollars up in smoke. Apparently, this was some kind of early warning radar. So now we're pretty much blind out there. And we're not going to be able to see what they're hitting us. What's coming. It's not going to be fun. RT posts 6 explosions heard in Keshem, Strait of Hormuz, as Trump bombs Iran in a proportional response. So they were seeing a substantial response from us. And we've got a little secret that's been going on. Check this out from Gen X Girls. Trump is gloating over us robbing Iran of oil in the dead of night. Take a listen.
Which I'm just announcing today for the first time. But we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil. Millions of barrels.
Proud.
Every night we took out oil. But now I'm going to tell you because they just figured it out. So now that they figured it out, I can tell you. It was very hard for me. I wanted to say it so badly, but I didn't want to ruin it. But it was very hard. But millions of barrels of oil has come out.
So millions of barrels of oil. You guys seeing are you seeing the benefits of robbing Iran of all that oil? So not only did we rob Venezuela, but now we're actively robbing Iran. So that's nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, from Mario Norfall, the U.S. is striking Iran right now in response to the Apache shootdown. Trump to ABC News. They shot down a helicopter and we are responding as we speak. I believe that the response should be very strong, very powerful, and that's what this one is. CENTCOM confirmed strikes began at 5 p.m. Eastern, calling the mission a proportional response to unjustified Iranian aggression. Oh, yeah, okay. Unjustified. CENTCOM says proportional. Trump says very strong, very powerful. Both are talking to different audiences. The Pentagon is signaling to Tehran that this is a calibrated retaliation, not war resumption, while Trump is signaling to his domestic critics that America doesn't absorb a downed aircraft quietly. Yeah, well, especially when we do it ourselves, right? But we need that excuse. We need the excuse because he keeps saying, we're going to get out, we're going to get out. No, we got to stay in. Now we have to retaliate. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, from Stu Peters, Trump doesn't care about your inflation. Check this out.
Sure, the right people come into our country. I will. I will.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that
He likes it.
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now. We took out the other night 22 ships, late at night with no lights, because they don't have any radar, because we blasted the crap out of it. We took out, that's why oil's $85 a barrel. I mean, you take a look. Remember when I did this, I said, look, the one bad thing will be, we hit the best economy we've ever hit. And I said to my people, I had Scott, I had Howard, I had Pete, I had all of them. I had Todd in the room. I said, the one thing we have to do now, we had just hit the highest stock market in history, highest 401ks in history. Everything was going well. And I said, I hate to do this to you guys, but Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon very soon. We have to go and attack. So we hit them with the B-2 bombers.
Yeah. So oil's at 85 a barrel, right? That's good. Even though it should be what, 60? Yeah. So he does not care about the pressure that everybody's feeling right now. He doesn't care about the rest of the world. He cares about his buddies, his billionaire pals. That's what he gives a shit about. All right, more interesting stuff from Suppressed News. Israel hired a Hollywood producer to influence Americans online. Daniel Rosenberg, producer of Spike Lee's Inside Man, signed a $900,000 contract to produce pro-Israel social media content targeting the U.S. public. His firm, Piro, is set to hire a director and cast actors for the campaign. Like many other Israel-linked FARA contracts, payments are reportedly routed through Havas. The listed point person is Aaron Shayevich, Chief of Staff at Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Nice. Good stuff. That's our ally, people. Producing media to influence the minds of the American public. Or children. That's nice. It's good that they're helping us. I like it. From Shadow of Ezra, Alex Jones says that Israel most likely committed a false flag terrorist attack against the United States Apache helicopter that was taken out near the Strait of Hormuz. Check it out.
I was saying yesterday, I wonder if Israel will do a false flag on the anniversary. Well, Iran is not taking credit. An Apache helicopter of the Strait of Hormuz got shot down. The pilots were saying this is just now breaking. Trump says U.S. must respond after Iran shoots down helicopter over Strait of Hormuz. Iran we can't find a statement yet. It's not taken credit for it. So Israel every time has gone in and hit Lebanon, hit other areas, hit Iran. Every time there's a peace deal, Trump said, don't do it again. And then is Trump going to just buy this? Why would the Iranians, now I know their forces are compartmentalized, and so I'm not going to say some Iranian with a missile might not have taken a pot shot at the Apache, but this has to be investigated as a potential false flag because of the timing. Victor Boot.
Yeah, so there won't be an investigation. Do not worry. There'll be a movie made about it. There will be a movie made about it because they're already making a movie about the fake 2 down pilots from the beginning of the war. That is right. Another one from Mario Nofal. The IRGC has declared its retaliation complete, claiming it hit 21 targets across U.S. air and naval bases in the region, destroyed F-35 hangars and command center in Jordan, and downed an MQ-9 over Iran. The statement says long-range solid fuel missiles did the work at the Jordanian base and closes with the standing threat of a crushing and decisive answer to any further American action. Now, apply the discount this war has taught us. The launches at Jordan and Bahrain were real. The interceptor footage proves that much, but destroyed is carrying enormous weight in that statement. The IRGC's claimed scoreboards have collapsed under CENTCOM's rebuttals all war, and 21 targets with F-35 hangars flattened is its boldest claim yet. So we've got conflicting reports right now. Everybody's trying to boost up their numbers and everything like that. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We did that one already. Okay, from Geopolitics Daily, we've got some news from China and Taiwan. Taiwan just fired U.S. missiles toward China on June 9th, 2026. This was not a drill. Wait, it is, but barely. Okay, let's read. What happened? June 9th, 2026, Taiwan held its biggest anti-invasion drill in years. 8 positions, 20 kilometers of coastline, 372 rounds fired. The target was a simulated Chinese invasion force. Invasion. The weapons Taiwan used, the Thunderbolt 2000 rockets, U.S. Paladin howitzers, anti-tank TOW 2B missiles, mortars and artillery, 60 rockets fired in 30 seconds from a single launcher. But the real message is to China, question mark. The U.S. supplied HIMARS launcher, range 186 miles. It can directly strike China's Fujian province from Taiwan. China is within reach. Why Taiwan's west coast? It directly faces China. Only 110 miles away. The beaches and mudflats here are where China would land troops in any invasion. This is where the war would begin. China sends warplanes and warships around Taiwan almost every single day. In the last 24 hours alone, multiple PLA aircraft crossed the Taiwan Strait median line. The pressure never stops. Taiwan, China, and U.S. weapons. This is the next major war. The world isn't watching. Follow for updates. This is going to be probably, one of the next one that kicks off. Most definitely. And we've got some news from Thomas Massey on the USS Liberty. Not news, but a statement that he made in front of Congress. Let's check out this post from Ethan Levins.
Thomas Massey has exposed that Israel used napalm bombs on the 1967 attack on the USS Liberty. Today in Congress, Massey has exposed Israel for the horrific crimes in attacking the American naval ship in 1967. The ship was an unarmed American research ship with over 200 on board. It was sailing in the Mediterranean until they spotted jets in the distance. These jets flew over them with the American flag flying high. There was not a cloud in the sky, and the jets started dropping every bomb they had, which included napalm, which was burning the faces and skin of every man on board. The Americans radioed the Israelis and begged them to stop, saying, "It's us, it's us." The Israelis cut communications and continued bombing for half an hour. 34 men burned alive. Over 100 suffered injuries that they never recovered from. It took the United States 12 hours to rescue the men. All of this information has been exposed by Thomas Massey today on the Congress floor. When you dig into the past of America's greatest ally, you'll uncover some horrific stuff. Thomas.
Definitely horrific. Let's take a listen to some of the stuff that Thomas Massey said. I'm going to speed it up, though.
On the next day, on June 8th, they started the day. The visibility was unlimited. The American flag was flying proudly on the USS Liberty. more planes came from Israel to surveil the boat, the ship. And they thought they were in good shape. But what happened next surprised them all. French Mirage jets showed up, and for 25 minutes, strafed and attacked the USS Liberty. They shot rockets. They shot 30-millimeter cannons into the hull and into the ship. They even dropped napalm on the bridge of the ship. This was an effort to kill everybody on board. There was no intention of taking prisoners. After the 25 grueling minutes of attack on this virtually unarmed ship, and they thought things were over and they could recover, the torpedo boats showed up, 3 torpedo boats. They launched 4 torpedoes. One of them hit the hull of the USS Liberty and killed 25 people instantly. It blew a 40-foot by 40-foot hole in the side of this ship. They were intent on sinking it. But they were also intent on not having a single survivor. According to eyewitness accounts, the Israelis machine gunned the lifeboats that they put down. They machine gunned the firefighters who were on the deck. They were bringing the wounded and the dead to the mess hall to triage them. They had one doctor who was trying to help them all, put a few stitches in. It was harrowing, and it's amazing. If not for that crew, that boat would have sunk that day. But it still wasn't over. Helicopters showed up, combat helicopters. And the USS Liberty, even though their signals were being jammed by the Israelis, got a signal out. And there were ships that tried to respond. The USS Saratoga, the USS America sent planes. Both of them sent planes to help the USS Liberty. And something happened that's never happened before. A ship under attack, the planes were recalled. This has never happened before. And they sat
We recalled the planes. Get it?
there for 17 hours. 34 dead, 174 wounded, out of 294 crew members. That's over 70% casualty rate, unheard of. The Israelis were intent on leaving no survivor. And what about our own military? Why did they not send anybody for 17 hours to help these men? So what really happened? You know, the official reports say that it was a case of mistaken identity. But if you listen to Dean Rusk, former Secretary of State, Richard Helm, CIA Director, Bobby Ray Inman, head of the NSA, Captain Ward Boston, who was the chief counsel of the Court of Inquiry. If you listen to Admiral Moore, who served in Pearl Harbor, Midway, commanded both the Atlantic and Pacific Fleet, and was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, none of these distinguished men think this was an accident. They think it was intentional murder by the country of Israel, either as a false flag operation or because they simply didn't want anybody observing what they were doing that day. Well, I've got a call to action for everybody here. Honor these individuals. Quit ignoring that they exist. Go to their website, ussliberty.org. Support them. And while they're still alive, they need closure. Let's give them closure. Let's have an investigation. Let's pass a resolution honoring them. It's long overdue. And then they can have their justice. With that, I yield back. And I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a declaration of Ward Boston declaring that the only official court of inquiry was invalid.
Thank you, Thomas Massey, for that. That was good. That was good. So now it is congressional record. It's a very, 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 very sick story. What they did. It's nuts. All right, some more news. From World Think X over on Instagram. Putin and Trump are building a tunnel. Looks like a train could one day connect Asia to North America. Russia says it will sign an agreement with the U.S. to advance plans for a 70-mile rail cargo tunnel beneath the Bering Strait, linking Alaska and Russia for the first time in history. But Russia's our greatest enemy. Or are they? The proposed mega project could reshape global trade, but for now it remains in the early design stage, with major engineering and geopolitical hurdles ahead. Yeah. Definitely some hurdles. All right, you ever wonder if Erica Kirk is possibly really a robot? Because this little clip right here makes it seem like she might be an android.
The joy of the Lord withstands all.
Look at her face.
Erica Kirk protects pedophiles! Erica Kirk protects pedophiles!
She doesn't even know what expression to make. Kirkbot. Look at it.
But the joy of the
Nice,
Lord.
right? This is what we have. This is what could possibly be in our White House at some point in time. Don't sleep. Could be. Could be. From Brain Mijatovic is the new Lego cartoon about the downed Apache. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
I'll full screen it.
Apache down. Hormuz heard it first. 2 weeks up. Apache down. Apache down. Trump said victory, but he don't make a sound. Apache down. Apache down. 2 more weeks while the bird at the ground. Apache down. Apache down. Hormuz got quiet when the rollers went out. Talk big wins and spin that clown. This ain't victory. Apache. He said total victory coming real soon. Iran gonna fold, give up everything by noon. But a gunship dropped near the Hormuz line. That don't sound like winning, that sound like decline. Pilots got rescued, yeah, they walked away fine. But the headline still cut through the victory line. You can dress it up, press it up, call it control. But every crash got a cost when you chasing a goal. 2 weeks again, same script, same sound. Every time it gets real, they move it around. Peace still close shore, keep talking loud. But the straits all smoking and Apache went down. Oh.
Not bad. Not bad. I'm sure that there's more, but that's all I got for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all I got. All right. What do we got next? What do we got next? Lindsey Graham. Well, like I said earlier, Lindsey Graham won another win for the Senate, right? Donald Trump says, congratulations to Senator Lindsey Graham of the great state of South Carolina on his big win tonight. With almost 60% of the vote against a large field of very capable candidates, there will be no runoff. Now Lindsey will be able to devote his time to passing the desperately needed and long overdue Save America Act. That's not happening, buddy. That is not going to happen. But you've got another warmonger right next to you, so that'll be fun. Let's see what Lindsey Graham has to say about his win. Maybe this is his session, or whatever the hell it's called.
Thank y'all. We won.
Yeah. What a piece of shit. What trash.
I want to start with a bunch of thank yous. I want to thank the big guy, God. Trump comes later. Mr. President, you're not far behind God, but we're going to start with him.
What a piece of trash. Let's see where Lindsey Graham's loyalty really aligns, all right?
I go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake, and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend. They want to bomb because they're Nazis, they're crazy. They want to kill all the Jews, and the Jews have been down that road before. To our friends in Israel, God bless you. I'm with you in every way. To all the anti-Seminites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. God bless Israel. Right. We should move all our stuff to Israel. Thank you.
All right. That's one of our senators, folks. That is one of our senators. And it's guys like that that are stuffing these little lines into these bills, trying to fuse our military with Israel or our intelligence or whatever it may be. From Alex Jones, did you know that the Pentagon has issued an emergency warning concerning Netanyahu's attempted hijacking of not just the Pentagon, but of all U.S. intelligence? Let's see what the beginning of this says.
The real gut punch is what's happening in Congress at the exact same time. On the heels of the revelation of Section 224 slowly advancing, Senator Tom Cotton slipped Section 622 into the FY27 Intelligence Authorization Act. This thing locks America into permanent, unbreakable intelligence entanglement with Israel. It mandates expanded sharing, ties it to Israel's qualitative military edge, restricts the president or future Congress from scaling it back without jumping through huge legal hoops and notifying bought and paid for committees, and even pushes sharing with Abraham Accords countries.
You see what they're trying to slip into these bills? Expecting that nobody's going to read them? This is no bueno.
There will be no unwinding this.
Every time I start reading the subsections, I want to throw up. I mean, you see what that does? Do you see that?
Man, he's still funny. From Derek Evans, The Constitution requires 2/3 vote from the Senate to bind us to another country. They hid it in the bill because they knew it was unconstitutional. Check it out.
Just as we thought, it's not only unconstitutional, it's most likely treasonous, and that's why they tried to hide it in the middle of a bill that they didn't expect a bunch of people to read and find out about, and that's exactly why they did it. But look here at Coyote over here on X, bringing out Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, proving that it requires 2/3 Senate vote for any agreement that binds us to another country. Why is this being allowed to happen? These are people need to be removed from office. Every single person who voted for this should be removed from office at the very minimum. And I believe that they should, everyone, be at least investigated for treason.
But nothing's going to happen because we still play this game, this bullshit voting and nonsense. Come on. All right, from Gen X Girl. I strongly believe the folks at the DEI who shared on June 5th that they were worried about Israel spying on the United States, the threat level had risen, that the timing is no coincidence because of this 5-bill takeover in Congress. DIA posted an internal message that raised the level for Israel to critical. The designation stems from concerns within the Pentagon that Israel's making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials. Yeah, because they're spying on Trump and they're spying on his cabinet because they want to see how he's going to make decisions concerning Iran and Lebanon. It's pretty scary, the way that they're writing these things. You know, if they go through, there's no way we're going to get out of it. We are going to be completely intertwined with Israel, and we'll be stuck. Let's hope that something could be done about it, but I wouldn't be expecting anything good. Just saying. Another one from Gen X Girl. Israel and its lobby are attempting a complete takeover of our government through a myriad of bills. Another bill that no one's talking about, they mentioned on Alex Jones, Senator Tom Cotton, Section 622 of the FY27 Intelligence Authorization Act, which locks U.S. into permanent, unbreakable intel entanglement with Israel. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Let's hear more on Section 22. This is from Grace Chong and Real America's Voice.
This? I understand why merging the defense bases is a horrible idea. It's the reason they took a voice vote, folks. They don't want the 18 on Ukraine will tell you, yeah, we'd rather have a voice vote on that. So you're not outing these guys as collaborationalists. Right. But what is the issue on intelligence? What would this? How would this be any worse than the Mossad running the CIA right now, sir?
Well, it enhances that control, let's put it that way, by codifying it into law. So what I mean to say is right now, our relationship with the Israeli intelligence services is mostly transactional, at least officially. We don't share everything with them the way that we share with those Five Eyes countries. We pick and choose. Under the new law that's being pushed, Section 622 in the Senate, basically it would open a floodgate of intelligence and information into the Israeli intelligence services, whether they ask for that intelligence or not. Right now they have to ask for it technically. Then also what this will do is also it hems in future presidents. Right now, the U.S.-Israeli intelligence sharing partnership is controlled by a given president. So if a president wants to restrict more access, he can easily do so. Eventually, if this law passes, the president no longer has that freedom of movement. Now, you and I discussed last time, there is a groundswell of people in both parties, younger people, who are at least skeptical of our alliance with Israel in its current form. And I think the Israelis and the Zionists in Congress are fearful that eventually future politicians 100%, from either party 100%. Will try to have. So they're trying to rein in.
And that's why they're trying to make it so we can't back out of it.
The president's freedom of authority on this.
They're trying to hermetically seal this. It's not going to happen.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. We will never allow this to happen. Not to the United States of America. Not going to happen. I'm going to have Fennell on here, one of the most renowned naval intelligence officers in the history of the United States Navy. Warned this country about the rise of the PLA Navy and gave up his career for that during the Obama administration. We're going to be talking about, guess what? Intelligence in the year 1941 and 42. One led to Pearl Harbor. The other led to the victory at Midway. This is the investigations about this current war, the investigations of what was the real intelligence and what was fed to the president back in June of last year, and this is a living thing. Don't think for a second we're ever going to rest till we get to the bottom of it, of exactly what was presented to the president and who is responsible for presenting it.
Good luck. Good luck. Hopefully, none of this stuff gets signed into law, but you see how they're trying to make it. They're going to make it so it is a locked and throw away the key type situation. No future presidents can even back out. So it's scary. It's scary because, like he was saying, they know that the youth right now are onto Israel. They know what's going on. You know, some of the boomers and everything, they're still trapped in that mindset that they're chosen or whatever, you know? Whatever. From Abi Bumaida on Twix, this week, the four most powerful AI companies in the world went to Congress with a warning. Their models have become so powerful that the knowledge barrier between a person and a biological weapon no longer exists. They wrote it themselves. The signatories, Sam Altman, Dario Amade, Demis Habisis, and Mustafa Suleiman, all four signed a public letter this week admitting that AI now outperforms PhD-level virologists on questions about dangerous laboratory procedures. That's pretty scary, right? Here's the specific threat that they describe. You can order synthetic DNA online. Companies print and ship custom genetic sequences to almost anyone. In 2017, Canadian researchers rebuilt an extinct virus using $100,000 of mail-order DNA. Gene synthesis has only gotten cheaper since. AI makes this catastrophically easier. Stanford microbiologist David Relman, who signed the letter, said AI can now tell you how to modify your order so that even companies screening for dangerous sequences cannot detect what you are trying to build. That quote is in a public letter sent to the United States Congress. Their exact words, there is a real possibility that the knowledge barriers which have historically prevented bad actors from obtaining biological weapons will meaningfully erode. These are not critics of AI. These are the people who built it. Sorry. Got a little marble in my mouth. What they are asking Congress to do, mandatory screening of every synthetic DNA order, verification of every customer, full record keeping so any threat can be traced. Right now, this is all voluntary. Not every company does it. OpenAI and Anthropic have publicly disagreed on AI safety approaches for years, but they signed this one together. That alone should tell you how serious this is. And serious it is because that's what's going to be making the vaccines from now on. That's what's going to be making the decisions. The doctors are taking a step back. The virologists are taking a step back. It's getting crazy. From Wealthy Setup on Instagram, Elon Musk just said the Neuralink will back up your mind, your memories, and your personality. You're you. Then restore it to a new body. Here's what that actually destroys. Well, your soul. For all human history, one rule applied to everyone. You are born, you live a few decades, and you die. Every religion, every legal system, every economy was built around that single truth. Musk just said that contract is negotiable. At a recent summit, he said it plainly. You're going to have a full brain interface that is basically a form of immortality. Your mental state is saved. You're backed up on a hard drive. That is not a medical device. That is a species-level announcement. Most people still think Neuralink helps paralyzed patients move a cursor. They're watching the tool and missing the target entirely. The cursor is a proof of concept. The real project is canceling death. Yeah, that's what they're really into. You don't think these billionaires want to save their shit on a hard drive and go throw themselves in a young body like Black Mirror shit? Come on. All right, he went further. You can always restore that brain into a new biological body or into a robot, whatever. Or a robot, whatever. Your memories, your identity, your conscious self, all transferable when the original hardware fails. This is not medicine. This is engineering against finality. Every civilization was built on one unshakable assumption: people end. Inheritance law exists because wealth outlives owners. Religion gives meaning to a life without with an expiration date. Philosophy asks what good life looks like, knowing it closes. Pull that assumption out and nothing sits where it did. Musk connected it directly to the AI race. We're moving so fast towards digital superintelligence that maybe it solves the problem for us. Meanwhile, we keep going with our meat computers. That is the exact technical specification, no metaphor intended. The real reason billions are being flooded into AI is not productivity. It is not chatbots or automation. The oldest, most desperate problem of the species is driving the entire race. How not to die. All right, so this is another use for AI, immortality. It's for a surveillance system. And possibly to keep the rich living. Who knows? Every founder writing a check into this space is building a clock designed to beat their own biology. Crazy. Here's what nobody's asking yet. Every risk you ever took, every moment that actually mattered, every urgency you ever felt, it was powered by the quiet awareness that your time was running out. Mortality is not just what killed you, it's what makes you move. Every deadline humans ever respected came from the same source. The old world accepted the ending and planned around it. The new builders are engineering directly against it, and no one has answered what replaces the only deadline that the species truly feared. Algorithms show you what to respond to. Oh, that's just a little spot at the end. So that's pretty scary shit. Shows you what their true intentions, but that's not something we didn't know. Not new, but it's new on the record type situation, right? Now they're saying it. All right, from Truth Seeker, Florida data center generators are firing up every morning and they're pumping out black diesel smoke. That's good. But I'm sure the community wants it. And it's funny how burning diesel and using electricity once was called a climate emergency until data centers started showing up and consuming all the power and water, right? Pretty interesting. Really interesting. More on AI. Anthropic just called for a global pause in AI development, warning that AI is getting too close to improving itself without human help. Anthropic is warning that AI may be approaching a stage where it can help create even more advanced AI systems, raising major questions about safety, control, and the future of development. Yeah, well, have you heard of the Terminator? According to the company, Claude now writes more than 80% of Anthropic's merged code, while internal coding capabilities have improved dramatically in recent years. Anthropic believes future models could increasingly assist with AI research and engineering, creating a feedback loop where AI helps accelerate the development of its successors. I heard one of the AI programmers, or whatever these guys are called, I heard him talking about that, like a coding loop. It kind of just perpetuates itself. It's weird. This is the core reason behind its call for a coordinated and verifiable pause mechanism. The company is not asking for all AI progress to stop today, but argues that governments and leading AI labs should establish safeguards before more autonomous AI research becomes possible. Yeah, before the AI builds an AI that we can't shut off. The debate has already sparked discussion across the technology industry, and with supporters calling it responsible planning and critics questioning whether slowing development could affect competition. Oh, what about China, right? What about China? That's scary when AI companies are saying to slow down. That's pretty scary. I don't know what that's doing in there. We've got some more news on Thomas Crooks, the alleged assassin from the Butler shooting. Remember that? When Trump got shot in the ear? Remember Thomas Crooks, that guy? Yeah, they're trying to make us forget. Yeah, they didn't investigate anything, right? He killed the investigation. But from leading report, Butler County PA Sheriff's deputy exchanged 2 emails with Thomas Matthew Crooks before July 13th, 2024. Okay? How's that so? How is that show? And it's per judicial watch. That's called planning, people. That's called planning. All right, we're on our way out. From Upscrolled and Nicole Jens, I've got our closer. Trump is now starring in a new movie, and it's called Harry Potter and the Strait of Hormuz. I will see you guys on the other side of this. Enjoy.
In a shocking turn of events that absolutely nobody with a functioning brain cell asked for, Donald Trump has announced his grand return to acting. He's starring in the latest multi-billion-dollar sequel, Harry Potter and the Strait of Hormuz. The movie opens with Trump emerging from the White House, carrying a golden wand made entirely out of unconstitutional executive orders, pre-printed in Tel Aviv. Witnesses report that every time the oil prices rise, he runs onto the balcony, licks the boots of his co-star Voldemort Netanyahu, points the wand towards the citizens of United States of Israel, and shouts, "Expensive petroleum." A spell so powerful, so devastating, that American drivers can feel it directly at the pump and their wallets. The film's main villain, it's of course Voldemort Netanyahu, as Trump spends most of his scenes practically licking Netanyahu's boots, apparently paralyzed by the Dark Lord spell. The comparison between the two villains has sparked immense outrage. Not from Netanyahu, from Voldemort. Sources close to the Dark Lord says he's currently sitting in a cave somewhere, crying, and asking lawyers to issue a statement. According to the sources, the statement reads, "I was trying to take over a magical school, not to bomb it. I wasn't trying to get the audience to applaud my crimes." Legal experts agree. The comparison may indeed be unfair to Voldemort. The story was supposed to follow the Western script, but the axis of resistance refused to behave according to the lines written for them.
All right, people, it's about that time. It is time for me to get the hell out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a great time hanging out with you guys. We'll be back doing it again next week, so feel free to stop on by. Please like and subscribe to the show. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Continue to share the show with everybody. And please engage. Comment on the videos. You know what I'm saying? Talk shit, do whatever. It really helps with the algorithm. I would appreciate that. Please and thank you. All right, well, that's enough of my rant. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great week. Stay safe. The world is still on fire. You're going to need your raincoats. I don't even know what that means, but I love y'all. Peace.